beauty of 10,000 steps a day is it targets your entire body. Hi, my name is Ispa and I'm a first-time mom who lost 22 kilos by doing 10,000 steps every single day. 22 kilos is roughly around 48 pounds. I'm going to be answering some of your frequently asked questions because I get questions all the time on what I did to help me achieve this. I'm going to be going very in depth on what I did, why I ate, how I achieved my 10k steps along with having a baby. All of this will be answered in this video. If there are any questions that I may have missed, please comment them below and I'll do my best to help. The first question is, when did I officially start going on my 10,000 steps a day walk? Initially, when I started working out, I did not even think about doing 10,000 steps a day. I started with Grow with Jo. Grow with Jo was incredible. She really got me excited about being in shape again. Around the time my daughter was 3 months old, I realized when I took her out on a walk in her pram that she would doze off and I would just naturally just keep walking because I wanted her to sleep for at least like an hour or more, so she was getting the nap that she needed to. I slowly realized that I was actually hitting my 10,000 steps. That's when it came to me that I should sleep train her to sleep in her pram. And if I could give you the best advice as a mom, if you're trying to be out and about, I feel like this is the best way. Sleep train your baby so that they are used to sleeping outside in the noise, or just so you can have the space to be out and about and enjoy being outdoors, because being homebound with your baby, it can drive you crazy. At least it would drive me crazy. That was the best time. At that point my daughter was napping 2-3 times a day, so I wouldn't go out with the intention that, okay, now that I'm going on this walk, I have to hit 10,000 steps right now. If I hit like 3,000-4,000 steps in the first nap, I would head out again and hit the remaining on her next nap. So that's how I normally do my 10,000 steps a day. I would go out 2-3 times a day with my daughter in her pram while she was taking her naps. Why I ate and how I ate. So I roughly did intermittent fasting, but it wasn't very strict. My official first meal would be after 12. But even that was very much determined by whether I was actually hungry. When I ate when I was actually hungry, and only until when I was a comfortable full. So when I say a comfortable full, I want you to think that when you're eating a meal, how do you feel when you know you've had too much? And you probably can't tell the difference when you feel very uncomfortably full because you've overate, or versus when you're like, okay, this is actually good. Like if I stop eating right now, it'd still be okay. And maybe I shouldn't be greedy, I should leave that portion aside. I was so used to being the kind of person who was like, I need to finish what's on my plate, because I know, like, my parents raised me to like, okay, whatever's on your plate, you need to finish it, we're not wasting any food. I needed to retrain my mind into thinking, well, this food isn't going to waste, I can definitely eat this later. So that's what I would do. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pack this away for now, and if I get hungry later, and genuinely hungry, not like bored, snacky kind of hungry, I'm gonna eat this food and it's not gonna go to waste. So the first thing I would probably have in the day around 9 a.m. was my coffee. That was it, because I just needed coffee to function. I'm a first-time mom, I was going to work as well. I would start my day around 6ish. So by 9ish I would start feeling hunger, but not in an immense sort of way. Like a coffee would satiate that hunger immediately. So I would have it with milk. And like I said, this was very roughly intermittent fasting. I know milk breaks your fast, so definitely don't see it as a strict intermittent fasting, because that's not what I did. My first meal would be around 12 to 1 p.m. and then my second meal would be around 6-7ish again, but this was very much determined of how hungry, or if I was even hungry to begin with. There was no like, okay, this is too late to have dinner. I ate when I was hungry. In between, if I still felt like I was craving something, like I wanted to eat something, I would have snacks like apple with peanut butter. You've probably seen this on my socials. I am a huge peanut butter fan, and my other obsession is also medjool dates with peanut butter. They taste insane. They taste so good, and I don't know about you, but I find dates so filling. I would have 3 to 4 dates with peanut butter and it hits the spot, especially because I have a really sweet tooth. Those two snacks really kept me going. I also picked up some low calorie snacks, brownies that were like 90 calories, those like little tiny ones that you can get from like Aldi or Lidl. I found those really helped as well in my journey, because I didn't want this to be something that once I'm done and I've achieved my goal, that I'm going to go back to eating like the way I was. I want it to be something I can maintain and a lifestyle I can upkeep. My first meal would always look the same, especially on the days I was at work. I would take an egg salad, which I've shared the recipe for in the past, but it was roughly around like 2 boiled eggs with some cottage cheese and half an avocado mash. I wouldn't eat all of it again. This is very much coming back to knowing when to stop eating. I didn't go into a strict calorie deficit. I believe eating only until I was like a comfortable full naturally put me in a calorie deficit, because I was listening to my body and telling myself, like, if I'm hungry, I'll eat, but if I'm not hungry and I'm full, I need to stop. This is something that made it really easy for me to also be not constantly in diet mode. I did still enjoy things when I was out and about, but again, I only ate till I was full, so I could still enjoy the things like going to a friend's house. They've invited you for dinner, you can enjoy those things, but again, knowing when to stop made it so much more achievable for me to continue with my goals. First year of my baby being born, I was breastfeeding, so I could not go on an extremely strict sort of calorie deficit, which I again explained, like, I didn't think about going into calorie deficit, but it was something I genuinely couldn't do because I was breastfeeding my daughter. Just trying to make the space for movement and making the conscious decision to eat clean. So that looked like protein, that looked like salad. Carbs is something I've mentioned that they make me feel very sluggish. So I try to have a smaller portion of carbs, like quite a small portion, and I have a bigger portion of salad, because something about salad, and this doesn't have to be boring vegetables, you guys, you don't have to put things that you don't like in there. If you like cucumbers, for example, or I don't know, olives, whatever you like, anything that you genuinely enjoy, that can go in a salad. It doesn't have to include things that you don't like. I don't know, if you don't like rocket, don't include it. You don't have to eat kale if you don't like kale. Put things that you generally don't mind eating, and having a bigger portion of that really helped the protein and the carbs to actually make you feel full. And obviously, because I was breastfeeding, I wanted to be able to continue that for as long as I could. So I think I breastfed my daughter until she was 9 months old. I also preface this by saying that I think being a mom is one of the biggest and maybe the toughest job you'll probably ever do. And if your initial goal isn't weight loss, it doesn't have to be, because you're already doing such a huge job. I love dance workouts. I enjoy dance workouts so much, and she has such fun moves, and I would just do those. I would just do one workout in the day, and I would say, okay, that's pretty much it. That's as much as I want to do today, and that is also fine. I don't want you to go away from this video and think, well, this is unachievable for me. I want you to feel the best as not just a mom. That in itself, yes, is an amazing role, but for you, you want to do this for you. I want you to feel your best, because you know you deserve to feel your best. One thing that really helped me in my weight loss journey was actually not thinking too much on the weight loss. I feel like that made it so much more achievable, and when the results came, I could not believe it. You are going to have days, you're going to probably have a few weeks where the scale is not going to budge, but you are going to have to persist. You are going to have to keep going, because the results, you have to think that this is almost like an absolute outcome. It is going to happen, but you just need to continue. That's something I took away from Grover Joe's workouts so much, that she said, even if you have like the worst workout, at least you still did a workout. You took the time to focus on you, and that's how you get results. You get it over with consistency. Every day you need to think, doing this workout today, or doing my 10,000 steps a day today, has brought me one step closer to the goal that I'm trying to achieve. You are probably not going to see this overnight, but you are going to have to trust that it is going to work. I want your ultimate goal to not just be about weight loss, it should be also about how you feel. You can think much more clearly. To make it easier, I have also done like what I eat in a day on my Instagram and my TikTok that I can link below, so that you can watch them, just to get a rough idea what that looks like. But one thing I really wanted was weight loss to be enjoyable for me. I didn't want to give up on things that I really enjoy. So I'm Pakistani, I eat Pakistani style food. One thing I did to make sure that that fit with the lifestyle that I'm trying to create for myself was not cooking in 1 cup or 1.5 cups worth of oil. Our food essentially is fried food. I'm so sorry to say that, but we eat fried food, and that's like one of the reasons I think we have high cholesterol. Definitely enjoy the food that you have, with a few substitutes where you are also prioritizing your health. For example, when I make keto, I'll just add a few more vegetables, and that's more nutritious for me than if I just didn't add any vegetables. Another thing I have been asked about is my core. What I did was 2 to 3 workouts that I dedicated. I was like, these 3 workouts, regardless of how tired I am, I'm going to do, and these are all lying down workouts, which makes it so much easier. So one of them was dead bugs, the other one is toe taps, and the third workout was squat to shoulder press. I would do total of 30 reps, and I feel like that makes such a difference as well for my core. I'm 28. One thing no one prepared me for that I've recently come to learn is, yes, I've lost 22 kilos, but I did not prioritize weight training, and I mean, I don't think it's still too late. I think now is the time. Now I should be focusing on weight training, because yes, I've lost the weight, but I'm actually much more weaker than I was before. I can't push a trolley. And if my daughter's sitting on it, you can just forget about it. I cannot push a trolley. This is the weakest I've ever been. Integrate weight training. I am currently looking to see how I can start doing that for myself. One thing I didn't know that nobody tells you is that when you approach your late 20s, you start losing muscle mass and bone density as a woman. I know, I was shocked as well when I found out. So I think one of my priorities for 2026 is going to be incorporating some level of weight training, even if it's 1 to 2 times a week. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I haven't started yet. Maybe I should start a series and we see what that looks like. But I think we really should, as women, try to incorporate some level of weight training. One final question. So people ask me, how long does it take you to do 10,000 steps? So if you are planning to do it all in one go, for me it takes me about an hour to 35 minutes, so an hour and 35 minutes. But if you again space it out throughout your day, which is something I find much more achievable for me because I'm a mom, you know, I just plan out parts of my day where I know I'm going to be out and I'm going to try to get as many steps as I can. When I used to live in the city, it was so much easier. I would just walk all the way down where I needed to go, and I would avoid taking buses as well, because I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I have to achieve a certain target by the end of the day, which is 10,000 steps minimum. Another thing that helped me, if you're a working mom, or if you just work, get off one stop before your official work destination. I would get off one stop before, walk 30 minutes to my office, and that would already kickstart the amount of steps that I needed to do for that day. Then I was active in my office. It's those little things that really do add up. Like, you're taking the proactive measures to achieve a goal that you have set in your mind. These are some of the things that really helped me lose the amount of weight that I lost. Another question I get asked is, it took you 2 years. So the first year, I feel like I wasn't able to dedicate as much time because I was breastfeeding. In terms of 10,000 steps a day, in terms of how much I was eating, I did need to be able to eat enough so that I could breastfeed. So in the first year, I lost 10. Second year, I lost the remaining to get me to 22 kilos today. If you don't want to do 10,000 steps a day, that's fine too. Maybe find a workout that you can commit to, something you enjoy. I know I used to enjoy dance workouts. Find something that you love that you can continue. Whether it's like a 10-15 minute workout, it doesn't have to be super intense. I feel like HIIT and all of those super intense workouts just add more cortisol, like more stress to your body. I know I would never lose any weight on HIIT workouts. Those would stress me out. I would get much more hungrier. And just overall, I would just wait for the time when those programs would end so I could go back to just lounging and doing nothing. Try to find something you enjoy, whatever that movement looks like. I know 10,000 steps was such a fun way for me to lose weight because it gave me the opportunity to be out and about, get the fresh air I needed as a mom, and it also gives my child the opportunity to enjoy being outside. Like, my daughter loves being outdoors, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok too.